If you need to go back,
Great. And then we'll cut off all the chat at the beginning and then just come in when I hand over to
yes,
Mikey. But um, everyone knows who they are because we're always on it. But of course, we've got a guest today. Mikey's going to talk to us a bit about some important stuff, particularly for our retail members, but also, of course, across the whole piece, really, of business crime affecting so many people. So I'll let Mikey introduce himself in a moment, but for his benefit, so he knows who's on the call. Um, I'm obviously Matthew. I own Escape Yachting, which runs boat trips out of Lymington and around the world, and a hotel in Brockenhurst. So uh, not a retailer, but aware of hotels. Of course, are particularly susceptible for people just wandering in and doing things they shouldn't be doing, and that's just the guests. But I mean, unwelcome guests as well. So important, especially in a town's and village centre. So really important that we hear what you have to say. So that's me, and I'm supported by Alice.
hello, Mikey. Yes, so I work with Matthew and Rob and the rest of the NFPP team on events and membership.
Excellent, thank you. And Rob.
So I'm also a director of NFBP and indeed a previous chair of it. I run a business maintaining and supporting WordPress websites. I've got a few retail customers among that, so I'm sort of aware of retail, but also perhaps more particularly because I'm a regional volunteer for Federation of Small Businesses, which includes a lot of retailers and does a lot of lobbying on behalf of retailers. So as part of that, I sit on the Police and Crime Commissioners Safe for Hampshire Business Partnership, I think it's called. So with Donna Jones and others, so I'm well aware of the existence of UKPAC, but not a great deal of what you do in detail, Mikey. So I'm really looking forward to this with interest.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And Claire and her
Yeah,
assistant under the table.
yeah, the assistant under the table is Jack the dog. I'm Claire. I'm a freelance marketer helping small businesses maintain their profile, grow their profile, that sort of thing. And yeah, again, I have one or two sort of retail type clients, sell to consumers. So yeah, of interest from that point of view as well for me.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And John's put in the chat about poor signal. So
Oh,
go, can we hear you? No, no.
Hi Matthew,
Uh,
can you hear me?
yeah,
yes.
we can hear you. So I'll let you introduce yourself, but we
Not,
can
not
see
only
your
got bad
chat as
signal, but
well.
I'm a bit rough at the moment. I've got bad throat and sinuses, so I probably sound like I've got a rough signal coming from me as well.
All right,
You've got your own personal rough signal.
Yeah, double whammy. Yeah, the
Mm.
Wi-Fi and me.
Mm.
I'm a personal coach to people in business and also a counsellor, therapist. I just came in on hearing about Jack. What was he doing with the bed?
I told you John would want to know.
Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah, just rearranging everything, John. I thought I'd tidied him up and organised him, and he's rearranged it all back to how he was. So
Oh yeah, it's never right, is it? You can do it perfect and they'll just get in it and chuck it all over the place.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know why we bother.
Right. You're still all frozen on my screen, by the way, so it's just a weird signal at the moment.
It's all right. We can hear you. So thanks for joining us today. So
Thank you.
Mikey, that gives you a bit of an impression of the range. And of course, the New Forest has got 9,000 businesses and lots of different kinds of business. And so any messages, and this is why I invited you to speak today, any messages you've got that we can share out to these businesses, to help them deal with the issues that you advise on, then just please use us anytime. But no, I'll let you introduce yourself and just tell us a bit about what you do.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Mikey Johnson. My main role is with UK Partners Against Crime, and I'm a business crime liaison officer. So I work with businesses across the whole of Hampshire on behalf of a funded project that's just brought to everyone by Donna Jones, the Police and Crime Commissioner. I've been in the industry for 10 years, maybe more now, and I've worked in doors and nightclubs. I've worked in student accommodation. I've worked in retail. I've done events, and I've done a little bit of everything, and I've gone from bottom level officers to quite senior management, and what's happened along the journey has sort of shaped me into what I'm going to talk about a lot. So a lot of what I talk about on behalf of UKPAC are things that I've experienced as well. So it's not just frustrations that you might feel that I give out now and again through the thing. It's experience that I've gone through. And one of those experience was when I worked for a large retailer based in the Southwest. That had a national reach, and I was working with multiple police forces across the UK, trying to deal with shoplifting and social behaviour and the blockages that I had there, and the issues that I faced, and sort of what was going on. And that journey took me to tackling officers, to going to senior officers, to actually sitting with police and crime commissioners, talking about the issues and what I deemed at the time was poor service from policing from all over the UK in regards to business crime in general. And that took me into a new learning curve, a new learning journey, where actually I learned that that was only maybe 10% of the problem. I owned 10% of the problem, and there was other factors into that that I probably didn't consider, or maybe I blamed back on the wrong people. So when we talk about business crime and policing, it's important to remember that when it comes to policing, the police's job is to take your crime and get it to court. Once it's in court, when it comes to charging and what happens in court, that's a totally different department. So we can't go tarnishing police officers with what happens in court when it's nothing to do with them. Getting it to that point was their job. When we look at prison sentences as well, and prisons, the theory that the prisons are full, again, that doesn't fall to the local bobby nor the officer that has investigated the incident. So we need to stop tarnishing officers with that problem, and we need to start challenging MPs about what the courts are doing and what's going on with prison. Are we making prison spaces, or do we need to find a new way of working and challenging or correcting behaviour? So I'll just share my screen if I can remember how I did it last time. There we go. So hopefully my screen is up.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm from UK Partners Against Crime. And on the top there, you'll see that it says the National Retail Crime Alliance. We are merging with that company, which is strengthening our partnership. So we've been very successful as UKPAC in Hampshire, in Dorset, in Devon and Cornwall, but we're expanding that reach to become national. We're going to start looking at more nationalised offenders as well as our localised. So it's giving national reach at a local level. And if you're an e-commerce, then National Retail Crime Alliance offers a solution for you guys to identify fraud in your business through your customers. It's also got truck poll, so if you're into or taking deliveries from cargoes, then we can help support with that. So that could be problems on the M3 where you parked up at Winchester Services and you've got people nicking from cigarettes being nicked from lorries as well. So we look at all that sort of aspect in the National Retail Crime Alliance. Also with UKPAC, it's not just about your retailer. We look at pubs, we look at clubs, we look at loads of different businesses. It's about businesses in general, not just retail, although a lot of it will be geared to retail as we talk along the PowerPoint. So hopefully I can get this to change slide now. So what's going on in Hampshire? So as I mentioned earlier, Donna James Police and Crime Commission launched UKPAC June 25 for all at Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, and it's open to all businesses for funded for 1 year, and it's open to all businesses of all industries. That could be retail, accommodation, so that's your hotels, your student halls, licensed venues, marinas, and I can't see what I've put the last one, but there is another one in there, but even bus companies, taxis as well. And it's because business is hard enough right now. Margins are tight, staffing's tight, costs are rising, and crime shouldn't just be another line on an expense sheet that we quietly accept. Businesses have decided not to stand alone anymore in Hampshire, and instead of reporting a single incident about this store, they're joining others and reporting multiple incidents, creating a bigger image of what's going on in the area. And with that, it's led to, as this is not intelligence and crimes being actioned, we're seeing investigation, arrests, sentence rates, charge rates all going up in Hampshire. Businesses have had the option to either submit crime packs fully for themselves or get the UK Crime Pack, the Crime Hub team to sort of work on those crime packs, or target prolific and persistent offenders in high risk locations. And we've changed that culture of nothing will happen to we're all building a case together, we're all working together. And with that, so far in Hampshire, I managed to pull this quickly. So it wasn't included in the slide earlier, but these are sort of the results we're seeing in Hampshire. So you can see that in total, we've achieved 3,438 weeks worth of prison sentences, custodial prison sentences, which equates to 66 years of offenders that we've worked together on and brought justice upon. We've got 29 criminal behaviour orders, or CBOs as they are mentioned, and they're conditions on people. So it's the old ASBO been revamped, but we apply it to put conditions on people. So it turns an offence from a business to against the estate. So if they commit an offence on the CBO, they've breached an order of the court. And some of those say not to enter certain locations. Some of them say to shop in a certain manner. So enter a store, grab a basket, use a trolley. Some of them say not to shout in the high street, not to be abusive. So they do vary, and it could be from something to do with shopping to something to do with staying away from a certain location to a certain behaviour that individual's giving out. You can see down there, bottom there, that it says projected incidents prevented. So the algorithm, the information it takes on offenders, it works out how many times what they've offended, but once we put in how long they've been put in prison for, it works out how many offences they would have likely committed based on the law of averages and the algorithm of what they would have committed if they were still out large. And then obviously it gives you the cost of what it saved retailers in Hampshire so far since the launch. You can see there that it mentions about exclusion notices. So we've issued exclusion notices on behalf of some of our clients. So 604 of those that have been issued. And then if exclusion notices are breached, we go into a second phase, which is a court sort of phase, where we give them a letter known as a notice of intention to prosecute for trespass, to say that we know that we've given you an exclusion, we said you're not welcome, you keep breaching this, we're reminding you one more time before we take you to court, and this is your notice to say if you do breach that, we're going to take you to court. And you can see that out of the 404 exclusion notices that we served, we've only had to serve 44 extra sort of NOIPs, as they're lovingly called, to offenders to say, hey, you need to stop, or we're going to go a bit further with this. So UK Partners Against Crime as a whole is set up as a cooperative, so a bit like your adverts that you see, right by you, owned by you, same ethos, same sort of attitude. It's for the community, by the community, so we have the community interest in everything we do. And what UKPAC is basically, it's a business crime partnership on steroids, is probably the best way to explain it. It's not about looking at a single location like your typical BCRP, where we would just focus on Lymington and that's it, that's my little bubble. I'm not going to care about what's happening around Lymington. I'm just going to stick with Lymington High Street and that's it. UKPAC doesn't have a border, so it's not interested in what's happening just in Lymington High Street. It wants to know what's happening everywhere, and it opens its membership up for everyone. So it doesn't matter if you're a single shop in a village that's not interested, and you are, to if you're on a high street and everybody's a part of it, you can have the same data, you can have the same sort of protection, so you're not losing anything. It provides a single point of crime reporting. So this vision of having one place to report everything is possible with UKPAC. It's not a theory, it's not a myth, it's not something that we're dreaming of. We've created that, and the system allows you to create and report your crimes directly to the police without leaving the platform, and you can give your evidence at a stage where it's actually ready to be investigated, and it's not an email that could be just man comes and steals cheese and the officer sees it and there's a load more work to be done there. You can give it as man comes and steals cheese, it creates that crime report for you, creates your statement and takes the CCTV, so it's an actual crime pack ready to be done, so they can get on with the sexy bit and get the handcuffs out and arrest those individuals for you. It's not about scaremongering for business crime partnerships or bids, business improvement districts. UKPAC's not interested in gobbling up your sort of workload. It wants to help you with your workload or be the extra cog that makes your thing stand out a bit more. So I'm not interested in taking over business. I'm more interested in supporting businesses in any aspect possible. Membership's open to everyone. We target repeat and persistent offenders in at-risk locations. Any profit made goes into the next year's activities. So we have in one location identified there's a homeless issue, actually in two locations, in Portsmouth and Southampton, and we funded what we've called Project Navigator, where we've got an individual going around speaking to homeless members and asking them if they need help. I'll be honest with you, they do say no, but it's not about asking them once. It's about being persistent and waiting for that moment of vulnerability where we can take that individual to where they need to be at the right time to make sure that they are on the right path to changing their ways and getting that support that they need. And the membership is low. There are things that say it's £20 somewhere along there. It's not £20 no more. It's 10. And we do offer it at different things. So depending on your type of business and what service you need, it'd be worth talking to me rather than sticking to the prices that are published. And we can do scales of economy and stuff like that. So I've left vision for Romsey on the top. That's a mistake. But is the vision for the New Forest or anywhere where you want to apply UKPAC is to create that shoplifters and organised crime groups know they're being monitored, to create that fear factor of, if I'm in this area and I see that UKPAC sticker in the window, or I see the right signage, that might deter me and think, hold on, these people know what they're doing because I've been stung by these guys before. I don't want to be stung by them again. Offenders travelling into the New Forest are held accountable. So in Lymington alone, we've spotted a lady in a phone shop who's stolen a phone, who's actually come from Yorkshire. And we actually know what garage well, there's two actually. We know what garages she fills up at 5 a.m. in the morning or 10 p.m. at night every day religiously in Yorkshire. So we're able to direct policing to that location and say, if you want to catch that person, they're here. We're able to identify them and we know what their patterns are. And this individual was actually out of their normal methods of stealing. They're normally ones that do distraction thefts. So this is a bit out of the norm for them. We help strengthen police response and intel backed by evidence. So it's not about, oh, I've had this. It's, we know this has happened. This is the information, and it's about sharing and coming up with a plan and not sticking fingers in the air going, the wind's blowing that way today, sort of thing. Businesses feeling united, supported, and confident. It's about giving everyone one thing. And I think there's a lot of mixed messaging that comes out, and it could be people with the good intentions and the best intentions, just giving the wrong advice or going their own way and doing their own thing and missing out the most important people in the loop that they need to include. Businesses in the New Forest feel safe, and it's recognised as a safe, welcome, and thriving place to shop, visit, and work. And it's important to remember that when I'm talking along about this, it's UKPAC's not about just tackling crime. It's about protecting businesses, jobs, community through effective partnership. So what UKPAC is it's a crime reporting platform. So anyone that's wanting to use it for any business can sign up for free for the year, get access to a platform, and what each site will get is a crime reporting thing for their site. So you can report your crime, your antisocial behaviour. It could be man comes and steals cheese. It could be guy outside begging. It could be that there's a guy playing outside my office block, loud music, really annoying. I'm sure he's not meant to be there. It could be anything. We had a state of nightclubs that reported taxis for curbing, literally curbing up and near missing customers. So it could be anything, and we'll find the right people to deal with the problem. Everything is GDPR compliant, everything is looked at, but also we've looked at from you reporting on the platform to how it lands in policing, to how it lands from policing into the court. So it is really a from shop to cop to justice sort of rhythm that we've got going. We've looked at it from one end to another. We liaise with the police and they have full access to the database, so they can see crimes that are reported, but things that you've reported that are not crimes, so they can be more informed, make those decisions on the ground, and know that there's a persistent person causing an issue down in the corner of the high street and actually walk down there, or to go to a certain location where you guys have reported you've seen drugs being dealt. It could be anything. The quality of evidence provides improved rates of successful prosecution because we're not waiting on things and times that the average sort of crime pack takes about 3 weeks for an officer to get received ready to do work. We've taken that 3 weeks down to 10 minutes. So things are actually being done quicker and being addressed quicker. And more importantly, the police are good at doing their job, but not very good at giving feedback. So we feed in the feedback from there, tell you what conditions people have had. So you know what they are, so you know what to report and you know who to report it. too. You're aware of what's gone on from the crime that you've reported and stuff going forward. The other key part is a chat function, a live chat function. So WhatsApp, I love WhatsApp. It's a great little tool, but it's only great when it's me and one other person. When we come into WhatsApp groups, we're now entering a bigger fish, a bigger problem. And what we're seeing and what people don't realize is the risks that are associated with it. And that is the GDPR risk, but not only that, it's the risk of that data being shared from out your group. So someone in your group that's legitimately got a reason to be there shares something out of the group to someone that you've put about me being a shoplifter, and I'm totally not a shoplifter, but you've put it in the group, you've put my picture on there, and my mate John's seen it and he shared it to me and gone, have you seen what Matthew said about you? And then what you've done is you've opened yourself into a lawsuit, maybe, or I'm an absolute wrong in and I've got your number now. I know where you work because you put it on your name, and I know where to come find you. So I'm either going to hassle your phone number or I'm going to come and hassle you at work. And these are things we need to consider when we are sharing data, when we are talking to being in a protective environment. But not only that, policing don't use WhatsApp for any reason whatsoever. So you won't ever have a police officer on this. You're missing out the key element of your scheme is to let the police know, and you're missing that out because they're not allowed to join. With the app itself, it has that already built in, and Hampshire Constabulary are committed to making sure that all officers have access to it, and they are on a chat feature so they can see what's going on in their high streets. On top of that, is backed up with retrospective facial recognition. So I can look through the database that we hold and see what you've put on there with image-wise, see if I can identify them and see what the trends are, and sort of start a little bit earlier on some of the crime pack work that you might be working to, or help encourage you, because we know that's going to be dealt with. We know there's a lot of information there, and this is available to anybody. So they're allocated to what sector you're in. So there's retail chats for retailers, there's hospitality chats for hospitality venues, pub watch chats for pub watch members, and there's hotel watch chats for hotels. So some of the other achievements that are just appearing on the screen that we've managed to achieve, you can see that we've got 34-week sentences going in there, to criminal behaviour orders, to rehabilitation. Not everything's all about locking people up. Some of these people have had something traumatic, which has put them in a way where they have no option but to be that person. And we just need to give them that support, work out what the problem is, and break the chain, whether that is through harsh whacking of the stick, put them in prison, get them through rehab through the prison service, or giving them rehabilitation outside of the prison once they're out, or before they go to prison, to see if that changes the offender. One of my personal crimes here is up, which is the Cadbury's egg man, who's travelled from West Sussex, Hampshire and Dorset, stealing £3,500 worth of Cadbury's cream eggs. What you would do with them yourself, I don't know, but that is a big trend of chocolate going missing in retail stores lately. So yeah, as we go along, you can see there's sort of loads of others, and you can see there a comparison for a retailer that before they joined UKPAC had 30 incidents and have seen none since they've joined. Again, one where they've had 29 and they only had one incident. And you can see that because what's happening is not only are they reporting it, but who they're reporting it to is creating action. They're saying, this is not right, we're going to challenge it, we're going to make sure it goes to court, and those offenders are actually going, oh crap, I'm actually being dealt with now. So I'm going to let Donna and her compadres do a little bit of chat, because maybe my voice is a bit annoying now.
Shoplifting across Hampshire and the Isle of Wight has been increasing year on year over the last decade. And as Police and Crime Commissioner, my job is to listen and work for you, the public. You've told me unequivocally that you want more to be done about shoplifting. So today I've launched UK Partners Against Crime. It's an app that's free to access for every retailer across Hampshire and the Isle of Wight for 1 year.
UKPAC are providing a service to policing and to the community, where we are enabling shops to be able to report crime, share information, and work closely with our local policing officers. The importance of it is that retail crime is significantly important in the community and politically and to policing, but it goes largely underreported. and lots of information is lost, and we don't have that information into policing, so we can't help them respond correctly. By using systems like UKPAC and others that are on the market, we enable shops to share that information quicker with us so that we can give a better service.
Donna Jones, Police and Crime Commissioner of Hampshire, has invested heavily in giving 12 months free membership of UKPAC to all businesses across Hampshire and the Isle of Wight. Whether you're daytime economy, nighttime economy, retail, hotels, doesn't matter. You know, you can join. And when you join, you get a incident reporting platform and all the services and the help and assistance that's behind it. The key thing here is data and information, right? If the police don't know what's going on, how can the police do anything about it? We've proven it works elsewhere, and it will work here in Hampshire as well.
The beauty of doing this is the reports come direct into our contact management centre and are delivered direct to local policing. So police officers don't need to deploy to gather the evidence. The systems behind UKPAC get that evidence direct to policing. So it cuts out and reduces an awful lot of resource time, making us quicker and smarter and helping us deliver a better service for those retailers that are on board with the system.
So this, for me, is really important to make sure that our high streets are safer. As Police and Crime Commissioner, delivering on my promises once again to give you, the public, what you've told me that you want. And that is a crackdown on shoplifting and to get criminals charged and behind bars.
So yeah, the question isn't whether crime exists anymore. The real question is, do we absorb it quietly or do we tackle it together? So yeah, it's free for all businesses to join for 1 year. That's it from me.
Thanks,
Thank you.
So if you stop sharing, then we can see everyone, and then we can have a bit of a chat about it, because it's important stuff there, and lots of numbers to absorb. Rob, I mean,
Yeah.
you're very sort of switched on about the the high street in Lyndhurst and so on and round and about. I mean, is this something that?
And yeah, I mean, also very engaged with the panel that Donna Jones chairs, and I think I was at the launch event actually, Mikey. So I know the enthusiasm that the police have got, and I saw Chief Inspector Marcus Cater on screen there, who's a regular at those meetings. The police are very enthusiastic about the joined up picture that this gives. Someone may have walked into a co-op store on a high street somewhere and nicked a tray of cream eggs, but when that suddenly becomes part of a bigger picture across the region, then it gives the police something to go after. It gives a stronger case for the courts to prosecute, and it results in a bigger win across the piece. There's no doubt that retail crime is increasing, and it's not just a cost of living thing. That may be a factor, but people are just being a lot more opportunistic. And this kind of stuff gives the opportunity to get that bigger picture, and it's not just about shoplifting, as Mikie said, or as the presentation said. It's about all kinds of different crime. So that joined up picture is important. The point that was made early on in Mikie's presentation around workload is important. If you lose your tray of cream eggs and you ring up the police helpline, you can be 45 minutes on hold and end up in quite a bureaucratic process, although they have actually introduced an online crime reporting. Was that a couple of years back, I think, Mikey? But there's quite a bit of overhead of time associated with that for a busy retailer compared to being able to submit it via a platform like UKPAC. So it's a far more effective way of working in the reporting of small business, and certainly talking with the Federation of Small Businesses hat on, which is the main body I'm representing when I turn up in that Police and Crime Commissioner panel. This bit of work has been very, very important in giving the opportunity to better prosecute a whole patchwork of small crime that together adds up to a strong impact both financially and in the way people feel when they go out on the streets as members of the public. So it's great work, Mikey, and I'm very enthusiastic about it.
Do you have a sense of what the take up is, Rob, locally?
Mikey's probably better placed than I. In fact, that was one of my questions to you, Mikey, was going to be where is it operating locally? Where can we see those UKPAC stickers appearing in high street windows?
So any Southern Cooperative store, any Sainsbury's, but also Lymington High Street for both pubs and retailers have taken the biggest chunk in the New Forest. We are starting to work with Totten pubs. So they're coming on board. We're processing them now. But there are other areas in the forest we want to get into. There are other areas of the forest where we need, I guess I'm seen as a salesman. And I guess that's what you're seeing me as now. And I don't like to think of myself like that. I want to tackle crime, and it's just trying to get people on board so we can tackle that crime together. But it's maybe I'm not the best placed person to speak about it. Maybe they need to hear it from peers. Maybe they need to hear it from a police officer. So I'm trying every angle to try and get that message out. I've hit most of the areas of the New Forest. So we've done Fordon Bridge. I've been to Lyndhurst. And yeah, so sometimes it's about finding the right person. That makes those decisions, that can put their eggs in the basket and go, do you know what? I'll give it a go. And importantly, it's free for that first year. So I'm not selling it to you. It's about you taking the opportunity to experience it and then living it and going, yes, this is the right decision for me before making any commitment. And I don't want to make a promise to anyone. I'd rather you experience it and go, actually, yeah, this is the right move. This is worth everything it says, or maybe it's a steal. Maybe I should report myself because it's too cheap. But either way, I'm happy.
Good, yeah. We've got some fairly active retailers, Alice, haven't we? I mean, you think of Lyndhurst High Street and like obviously the perfumery lead on that. I mean, they're all out in arms about parking, so hopefully they would be a good group to get behind this campaign.
And there's also the High Street group in the Chamber, Mikey. I'm sure you've already been in touch with Lymington Chamber.
Yeah, I've been invited to their AGM, and I went to the last AGM and
that's right. I thought I'd seen you. We had breakfast together, I think.
Yeah,
you.
I think that's when we
asked so there's a sorry. Yeah. There's a High Street group in the Chamber. And there's also there's a chamber in Lyndhurst, isn't there, or a traders association?
Yeah, it's a traders association. It's not affiliated to British Chambers. It's much more focused on things like A boards on the pavements, things like that. But that's not to dismiss it too much.
I don't know if Mikey wants to talk to them too.
Yeah.
Jane and Peter, is it?
No, it's Zoe Garfath at the chiropractic clinic is the main leading light in it at the moment.
Okay.
But small retailers, particularly independents, are notoriously difficult to get to work together in a coordinated manner. As Mikey will well know.
Yeah, Fiona's got a good point there about some of the stores as well. Yeah, absolutely. But look, if any of us know people who would benefit, but also people who would be advocates for this work, that's the important thing. We'll tell as many shops and retailers as we can. And also put whatever, anything you want us to put out in our weekly email to businesses in the New Forest, we can do that for you. It doesn't cost you anything. You just email it over to me.
No problem. Yeah.
Just like a graphic of some kind that just has the offer on it. If you've got something like that with a link, that would we can send that out. And we send email every Monday.
Yeah, I can get that sorted. Yeah, it's not a problem.
Yeah, that would be good, because I know you gave out some things when you came to the chamber, but just need a graphic that I can drop into the email.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. To answer Fiona's question, if there's no funding secured, it would cost the retailer about £10 a month for the services. But where statements are written, bearing in mind that it's not just about the platform, we write statements on behalf of retailers as well, and obviously that's what that work goes for. Restaurants are suffering from eat and runs. Yeah, that sort of has gone up as well. Charity shops are seeing shoplifting go on as well. So I mean, one charity shop just yesterday reported £100 loss in goods. Some of them do stock new goods, some of them do obviously stock the traditional brick and brack sort of stuff. But either way, it doesn't, regardless of what the product is, it shouldn't be happening. And we should be challenging those behaviours, and we should be tackling those individuals. Again, nightclubs, pubs, Vogue issues, the sexual assaults. We have a habit of in the industry moving people on and maybe not telling others or collecting that evidence. But just think, if we could collect evidence of, or just mention it as intel that this guy or this girl was kicked out for inappropriate touching, and it happens a few times, and then it ends up being that sexual assault, that we've actually got a bigger case now, because we could prove that they were hunting for that and it wasn't a moment of madness, that is what their intentions were from the start, not a moment of madness or being drunk. And to be honest, being drunk is never an excuse, especially in my book. I don't allow it. But you should. We're all old enough. We're all adults. We should be able to control our behaviour, and there's no excuse for it. But yeah, we have also on the flip side, which would be probably, I don't know how many members you have, but that would cover this sort of industry. But I never mentioned farming and rural areas. And Donna has just signed a contract with us for our sister app called Eyes On, which looks at rural crime, which is free to use, which you just contact your local police officer or go on to Eyes On and sign up, and they vet you like they did before, which allows you guys as farmers to report your incidents in a different manner. And some of that intel comes into the retail sector, such as car registration. So we cross-reference them for burglaries or where we cited them before, to see if we can connect the dots between the two different crime types.
And that's a really important point, and perhaps even more so with farming rather than retailing, because in retailing you have got a few chains of retailers in operation, but in farming it's all just little dots everywhere, other than farmers talking to each other down the pub or at the market. And yeah, if you get a similar pattern of crime occurring across multiple places, then there's probably a gang out there who are actually taking hundreds of thousands or more of fuel, machinery, GPS units off tractors. You know, my brother-in-law's a farmer. He hasn't had the bad luck, but other farmers around have lost GPS units off their tractors that are vital to driving seed drills and spray booms and things like that. These things in their own right are worth a couple of grand if they're nicked. And it happens.
I'm just going to put in the chat a link to the Eyes On site. I don't know much about it because I'm not part of that division team.
Yeah.
But I'll put a link in so you can have a look, share it about.
Thank you. Good. We're nearly done. Any other thoughts or observations, or any other news, or anything else that's happening over the next few days? We've just had a fabulous gathering of people yesterday. We had 60 plus 40 plus 20 people at 3 events in one place yesterday. So we've seen a lot of people. And of course, the weather was fabulous for that event. But any other news or thoughts that anyone wants to share?
Well, I'll just mention the FSB boot camp on 30th of April at Hanger Farm, which NFBP is participating in. There'll be a chance to meet a lot of other business owners and hear speakers and meet various other businesses, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be promoting the New Forest Business Show there, which has had a fantastic response in the initial week and a half of being advertised. We've got 40-something businesses booked already, and heading towards having 100 and about 400 visitors. So that's really encouraging. That's on the 18th of June, and deliberately priced to be accessible, and you don't have to travel across a long way off to one of these national expos. But it's you know, it's the New Forest for the New Forest, and I know Mikey was looking at whether that was going to be possible for you guys, but there's the staffing issue as well as the cost, of course. But at the very least, we need to think about, there are probably various people we could at least invite to come as visitors and talk to the businesses who are there, even if they can't exhibit. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Sorry, Fiona, we didn't introduce you, but you got anything exciting happening in your world this week? The world of business.
Well, I might have actually. I've entered a competition. I don't know what my chances are, but the prize is a week's pop-up in John Lewis.
Oh, do you need us to vote for you or do something online?
No, it's been judged by somebody else, so all I had to do was enter. So I need you to all cross fingers, toes, and pray, because I would just be so excited to get that. I won't know until mid-April. So yeah, it's the week pop-up would be end of May, early June.
In Southampton?
Well, that's on the list, and it just makes sense to go there because I guess I have to be up early.
Yes. Oh, well,
wow.
Good luck with that. Absolutely.
And you've also won something else recently, haven't you, Fiona?
Well, actually, that was awarded last year, but I went for this. Well, I mean, they didn't make a big song and dance about it then. They were waiting for this. Well, it was like a networking and sort of photo shoot for it. So yeah, I mean, this thing here arrived in the post this week. So that's you know, the little write-up that they've got online and in a magazine or something. And I'm just about to announce another one for your stylist in the box as well. So yeah, it's all going well. Just got to sell those now.
Well, it all helps, absolutely. And for that reason, we've enhanced our workshop program, which is already great. But we've got various things like tomorrow we've got a group gathering to work out how to better and more effectively exhibit at shows. And there's another one which made me think of what you've just described, is that in July we're doing one on how to enter awards, because it's just before our awards season opens and we get hundreds of nominations, but unfortunately a lot of people let themselves down at that stage. And so someone who's a bit of an expert at entering, and she has quite a good track record of getting nominations through, and she'll be sharing some tips about, and I'll be there saying what it's like from the other side. And Rob's been a judge, and Alice sees all of our nominees, and it's just what it is we're looking for in that nomination process, because it, you know, if you take it seriously as you did when you were involved, you know, the benefits are there to be enjoyed.
Yes, it's one I've never won.
Claire, do you do anything around awards and helping people with that when in a marketing role?
Yes, absolutely. Depends on, you know, who they are and what they apply for. A lot of clients, actually, sorry, Jack's just wanting to weigh in on this one.
Yes.
And a lot of clients actually feel a little bit embarrassed about nominating themselves. So actually, one of the biggest things I will do is actually say, no, come on, you're worth it. You know, let's write a really beefy nomination and go for it. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we've got to shout about the good news as well as the bad news, which is a really clever segue back to Mikey, to thank him for sharing not just the bad news and the bad statistics, but the fact that someone is doing something about it.
Yeah.
And the more we can do to help people be aware of what support there is out there, and as you say, communication, sharing the information, working together, better together, stronger together is really, really important. It's what we're about as a partnership. So please, Mikey, anytime there's anything for us to share with businesses, please send it through.
Guys, I'm going to head off. I've got a call coming in.
All right, love.
Great to see you, Mikey.
All right, take care.
Yeah, just send it through, Mikey, anytime, and we'll send it out for you.
No problem.
Yeah.
We'll let everyone go. Sorry, Fiona.
So how do people get involved, Mikey, on the UKPAC thing?
So to get involved in UKPAC, you just head to the website uk-pac.com and then go through the sign-in process. I'll type it in the
chat
browser for you as
Pop
well.
it in the chat, yeah.
Yeah.
UK-pac.com.
I'll put the sign up bit in there for you as well, so it should take you directly to the page you need.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And what I'll do is I'll send you the graphics with the QR code on, so then when you publish it, you can just scan the QR code and that should just take you straight to the page to go on then.
Yeah, good idea. And we can circulate it to other members as well.
Absolutely. And I've got the brochures that I gave out at the limiting thing. I've got that electronically as well. So if you wanted that as well, that.
And that through as well, yes, please. Yeah. We can share it with our members on our newsletter.
Excellent. Good. So it's time for Jack to go for a walk.
I think it might be.
Yeah, and for us all to relax. But have a lovely evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Over the coming week, we've got all sorts of exciting things happening as always, but we're always here on a Wednesday afternoon. And as I said, tomorrow we've got a really useful workshop. But after that, we do start quietening down for Easter. But we do have a lovely business breakfast next week when Becky Davis, whom some of you may know or may have met, she's doing a lot of good work around mental health. And she will be leading that business breakfast at Rhinefield House. And then to sort of have our end of term and just before the Easter break networking session, we're at the Noisy Lobster again on Avon Beach in beautiful sunshine. I'm sure Alice will arrange. And that's for the luncheon leads on Thursday, the 26th.
Might even go for a swim.
A couple of things still to happen, absolutely. So do join us whenever you can, whether it's in person or online. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Lovely to see you all again. Jack. Bless him.
I was late, by the way. I did
Don't
sign
worry.
up for this, but I didn't. Every time I'm able to come, which as you know isn't a lot, I don't get given the link.
Oh, darling.
Oh, well, this you booked with your color and style one, so that's where it goes automatically to that.
Well, I couldn't see it.
No.
So,
did it go into junk?
Maybe, yeah, maybe it got.
No, I checked the junk. And it wasn't there. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, always
made it.
I mean, I try and watch it, but just ping an email. But you know, you're welcome to.
But you do send it out like on the day.
Yeah.
And I've been out and I only got back at like 5 to 4. So I'm frantically looking at my emails because I didn't see it this morning. And it wasn't till 10 past and I thought, well, I can't find it anywhere. So I sent you a message on LinkedIn, Matthew, because I didn't know what to do. And then I suddenly thought, Rob might be. So yeah, Rob sent me the link. But it's just
good man.
Classic. Every time I
Rob's email came through to you, but mine didn't. Because I know there are various different ones, but it just automatically sends to whichever one you've booked from. Yeah, but we have a whole new system coming very shortly. It's coming in for Easter.
I'll look forward to that then.
It's being worked on right next to me right now, so it will be there soon. But anyway.
I want to meet the man who's stolen all the cream eggs.
I know.
You can pop round my house anytime.
He ought to be fairly obvious because he's probably throwing up in the corner somewhere. But
He's probably not the slimmest man we've ever seen.
Yeah. Very good.
Don't run away in a hurry.
Excellent. Right. Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you again, Fiona. Take care, love.
So Alice, I'll see you tomorrow at
I will come over to you. I will come over to the
Countryside
Education Trust straight after Bricky.
Excellent. Yeah.
And then we'll go on from there.
So you've got to the two the lovely Kate from Silent Sellers coming and
yes.
Simon the manager.
Is that that's the other Simon, not your Simon.
No, Simon
the other Simon. Oh, that's great. Yes, I'm pleased they're coming. She mentioned it to me yesterday at the yacht club that they wanted to book, so I told her to message you straight away.
Well, just want to get in with tonic rooms. So
oh, okay. Well, we can help with that.
yeah. Well, they spoke to Karen.
Oh, good.
And
And they're also in with Efford Park.
Well, I nudged Simon after she said
Yeah.
she hadn't heard back from him.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that should be good.
Yeah, don't worry, be fine. And I hope you're feeling better. And
well, yeah, I mean,
Mum's okay.
I feel fine. It's just a case of snivelling a bit. But
snivelling a bit, yeah. But I hope your mum's all right.
A nice full English would have been good, but next time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll make my way over to I'll go and get the pastries, and then see you there.
If Bellord and Brown are shut, you can always go to Fairweather's Garden Centre.
Yes, good point.
I was just thinking if you get there and for some reason, because they are very bizarre, they open and close at totally random times.
So what time is the event? 11?
Yes, we were going to get there at 10:30.
I mean, what should I get? Given it's not really breakfast time.
Flapjacks or something like that.
It says
coffee and cake.
Pastry, so it needs to be cake rather than biscuits. So
yeah. Or buy a whole cake. I don't know. Where are we? Oh no, they have got a kitchen. We could cut it into pieces.
Okay.
But something cakey that people have with coffee and tea.
Why not?
Why not?
Very good.
Yeah, and if we haven't got what we want, I can always, I'll just nip out somewhere and buy something.
Great. Brilliant.
All right then.
See you then.
All right. See you tomorrow then. Okay.
Yeah, cheers. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Bye.